For many of us, it is the most wonderful time of the year. We decorate our houses, our Christmas trees, and even our gardens. We buy presents while enjoying beautifully decorated shops, streets, and Christmas markets. When it is finally Christmas, we indulge ourselves in delicious food, drink a few more than usual, play Christmas music, and watch Christmas movies. The higher up in the Northern Hemisphere you live, the more likely your chances are of having a white Christmas. The most wonderful time of the year. Spending time with your family, friends, and relatives. Giving presents. Cooking dinner. And for many, it's also that time of year to celebrate the birth of Christ. But what is Christmas really all about? Is it indeed the celebration of the birth of Jesus? Or do the origins of Christmas go even further back? And where do all the traditions, such as our Christmas tree, Santa Claus, and Christmas carols, actually originate from? Let's find out. Although Christmas nowadays is mainly about a beautifully decorated house, lots of gifts, and lots of food, many people celebrate the birth of Jesus. The well-known nativity story, where Joseph and the highly pregnant Mary go to Bethlehem, and Mary gives birth to the Son of God on the night of December 24th. For Christian people, this always has been the main reason to celebrate Christmas. For more than 1700 years. But part of the origins of Christmas are even much older. If we want to go all the way back to the beginning, we have to go to the time of the Celtic and the Germanic people, also called pagans. People who lived in the north of Europe at least 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. An area where winters are still cold and especially dark. Time for a bit of astronomy. Our Earth revolves around the Sun. A complete orbit of our planet takes exactly 365 days. That is 1 year. Because the Earth does not rotate completely upright on its own axis, but is tilted 23.5 degrees, the amount of sunlight, but also the number of hours of daylight on the entire Earth, changes throughout the year. Except at the equator. As you can see, in December, the Northern Hemisphere has the shortest days and longest nights. And for that reason, from December 25th, the pagans celebrated the return of the sun, because from that moment on, the days slowly become longer. How could they tell without a clock that the days were getting longer by the minute, you may wonder? By building large constructions that mark the time and place at which the sun rises and sets. The return of more daylight was an important moment that these people celebrated with fire. but also with food and sacrifices for a good harvest in the coming year. But not only the Celts and Germanic people celebrated the return of the sun. The Egyptians worshipped their sun god Amun-Ra in this time of year. In Greece, the sun god Helios was worshipped. And the Romans celebrated the Sol Invictus festival on December 25th. All celebrations that marked the return of the sun. And the fact that the birth of Jesus is also celebrated in this period is no coincidence, although from a historical point of view, probably not on the correct date. It all started in 313 AD, when the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great acknowledged Christianity as an official religion. A significant change, because until then Christianity was forbidden in the Roman Empire, and Christians were persecuted and killed by the Romans. And because of this change, Pope Julius I decided to set December the 25th as the official birthday of Jesus a couple of years later. Although we celebrate the birth of Christ on December 25th, for more than 1700 years, it seems quite unlikely that Jesus was actually born on this day. In the Bible, we find only two evangelists, Matthew and Luke, who write about the birth of Jesus. But their stories are quite different from each other, and neither of them mention a season or date of birth. Not even a year. In Israel, Jesus' native country, December is the wettest and coldest month of the year. With temperatures of a few degrees above zero at night, it is unlikely that shepherds slept in the fields with their sheep, as told in the Nativity story. But by taking a quick look at the history of many gods prior to Jesus, December 25th is not an unusual date at all, as all the major gods were born on this day, and, just like Jesus, of a virgin. Most of them even had 12 disciples, just like Jesus, and they were crucified or murdered, and rose again from the dead after 3 days. And this is how, through an adaptation of ancient religions, December the 25th became the day the Romans started celebrating Christmas. Around 200 BC, the Romans began to conquer large parts of Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, and Arabia. After they adopted Christianity as their new religion, the Romans forced the population in their conquered areas to also convert to this relatively new religion. Of course, the Romans did not single-handedly convert all of Europe to Christianity in a few years. This battle continued for hundreds of years, even after the fall of the mighty Roman Empire. Ultimately, it was Charlemagne who forced the last remaining populations in northwest Europe to banish their pagan religions and become devoted Christians. You think this was pretty brutal for a Christmas special? Well, brace yourself, because this was just the beginning. From the Middle Ages onwards, Europeans began to conquer large parts of the world, such as Australia, Africa, and North and South America. The irony is that history repeated itself. Because what the Romans did to the rest of the Europeans did to a large part of the rest of the world afterwards. they conquered all habitable continents and violently forced the natives to ban their existing religions, regardless how deeply ingrained in their culture, and convert to Christianity. Unfortunately, this is the dark truth of how Christianity, and with it the celebration of Christmas, was spread around the world. But what about the origins of our Christmas tree? Singing carols, buying presents and Santa Claus. All these traditions also have an origin. Fortunately, they are less brutal and a bit more festive. In the northern countries, conifers, such as the pine and spruce, are the only trees that are still green in the winter. That's why we call them evergreens. During the midwinter celebration by the Celts and Germans, the conifer played an important role, although it is not known whether they decorated them. The oldest public Christmas tree is attributed to the city of Riga in Latvia. The tree was decorated with roses by local traders in 1510. The place where this first public Christmas tree ever stood, in the center of Riga, is not difficult to find. From the 16th century onwards, people wrote about Christmas trees decorated with colored paper, apples, cake, and candy. The Christmas tree became really popular in the 19th century, first only in Germany. But a drawing in a British newspaper released in 1848 would change everything. This drawing showed England's Queen Victoria and her German husband, Prince Albert, standing by a decorated Christmas tree on Windsor Castle. The Christmas tree was a German tradition that Prince Albert had introduced into the British royal family. The Christmas tree quickly became popular in most parts of Great Britain. 2 years later, in 1850, the same drawing also appeared in an American magazine, making the Christmas tree also popular in the United States. It took Christianity a while to accept the Christmas tree. The Catholic Church in particular detested this pagan symbol for a very long time. It was not until 1982 that the Pope finally gave permission to place an annual Christmas tree on the Vatican Square. The most famous Christmas tree is the one at Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York. This enormous Norway spruce is donated to the city every year by an American resident and is often 30 meters or even slightly higher. The lighting consists of more than 50,000 Christmas lights, and igniting them is always quite a spectacle. But the largest upright standing Christmas tree in the world, although artificial, is located in the Netherlands. The 366-meter-high radio and television transmission tower in the town of IJsselstein is decorated with Christmas lights during the holiday season. When the weather is clear, this enormous Christmas tree can be seen from 30 kilometers away. And finally, the truly largest Christmas tree of all, also according to the Guinness Book, is built annually in the Italian town of Gubbio. It does not stand upright because that is impossible, but built lying on the slope of Mount Ingino. This Italian giant has a staggering length of 650 meters, making it truly the longest Christmas tree in the world. But a Christmas tree is not complete without Christmas lights. Our Christmas lights and burning candles also come from the Germanic Midwinter Festival. Bonfires and torches were intended to dispel the darkness of the midwinter period. In the Nordic countries, they have been celebrating Santa Lucia on December the 13th for centuries, which marks the beginning of the Christmas season. A celebration in which young girls wear a crown of candles and special Lucia songs are sung. This occasion is celebrated also in other countries, such as Russia, Italy, Croatia, and Hungary. But the way of celebration varies from country to country. For centuries, people have lit up their Christmas trees with small candles. Very cozy and also very dangerous. But without electricity, there was simply no other way. Until the American Edward Johnson made an invention in 1882 that would change our Christmas experience forever. He worked with Thomas Edison, the famous inventor, who at that time, like Nikola Tesla and Werner von Siemens, was busy providing the world with electricity and lighting. One day, Edward looked at all the colored lights on the operator's switchboard and had an idea. In the workshop of the Edison company, he soldered 80 different colored lights to a long wire and placed them in the Christmas tree in his own house. Soon after, the Edison company started producing these so-called Christmas lights, which became popular in a very short time. Today, Edward Johnson is still seen as the father of Christmas lights. What once started with a few simple colored lights in a tree has now grown into a true Christmas culture. Nowadays, not only our Christmas trees, but also our houses, gardens, shops and shopping streets are filled with Christmas lights. The more, the better. If you ever visit New York during the holiday season, you have to go to Dyker Heights, an upscale neighborhood in Brooklyn, where the houses and gardens are covered in the most over-the-top Christmas lights display you have ever seen. Be sure to go between dusk and 9 p.m., because after that time, most houses turn their displays off.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, or hear the angel's voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born.
Despite all the cozy houses, beautifully decorated Christmas trees, and all the things we do to make it the most wonderful time of the year, there's only one thing that gets most people really into the Christmas spirit, and that is Christmas music. Christmas carols have been around for a long time and emerged, as far as history books can help us, already in the time of the pagans in the form of seasonal themed songs. With the arrival of Christianity, religious carols became popular, mainly sung in Latin. The oldest Christian Christmas carol that history can show us is Veni Redemptor Gentium, which was written around 385 AD by Ambrose, Bishop of Milan. And the famous In Dulci Jubilo, still very popular, was written around 1328. Christmas carols have been sung from door to door since the Middle Ages. This was mainly done in exchange for money, food, or drinks. In 1819, the first famous non-Christian Christmas carol was written. It was the German song O Tannenbaum, also known as O Christmas Tree.
Jingle bell, jingle all the way.
With the rising popularity of the gramophone record, in the 1940s, modern Christmas songs appeared.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
The most famous example is White Christmas by Bing Crosby, recorded in 1942. This was not only one of the first modern Christmas songs, but it also became the best-selling Christmas record of all time, according to Guinness World Records.
I've waited for this time of the year.
Many artists have tried to release a major Christmas hit, because if they succeed, the song will give them a guaranteed income every year during the holiday season.
The magic is real.
So far, the last Christmas song that became so big that it would pay the bills all year round was All I Want for Christmas Is You, written and performed by Mariah Carey in 1994. Over the course of a whole year, All I Want for Christmas generates around $2 to $4 million in royalties. Talking about making quick money, it took Carey only 15 minutes to write and compose the song. Imagine that. In many countries, he is Father Christmas, the jolly man in the red suit, with the long white beard and a bag full of presents. Riding the cold winter sky with his reindeer on Christmas Eve to deliver presents to those whom been good this year. The living legend of Christmas. But every legend has an origin. What about Santa's? According to many people, Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. But he used to live in a much warmer place. Turkey, to be precise. He was born in a province we know today as Antalya, in the town of Myra, in the year 280 AD. And his name was Nicholas of Myra, a man who would eventually become the bishop of his hometown. After his death on December 6th in the year 342, all kinds of stories arose. For example, he's said to have taken care of poor people by throwing gifts through an open window or even up the chimney. There is one story where he threw a bag of coins through the window and it landed next to the chimney where the family members' socks were hanging to dry on the mantelpiece. Sounds familiar? He was canonized by the Greek Catholic Church in 550 and has since been called Saint Nicholas. He was seen as the patron saint of the poor, sailors and children, among others. In the Middle Ages, certain European countries celebrated the anniversary of St. Nicholas's death on the 6th of December by giving their children presents. Over the centuries, the St. Nicholas celebration changed and disappeared in many countries. Nowadays, only the Dutch and Belgians still celebrate this festival. Between 1626 and 1664, the city of New York was Dutch territory. The city was then called New Amsterdam and was governed by Peter Stuyvesant. One of the oldest streets in Manhattan is named after him. The New York writer Washington Irving published a book in 1809 under the pseudonym Diedrich Knickerbocker. In the book, A History of New York, he satirically describes the history of the city of New York, taking the reader back to the time when New York was still Dutch. In a dream of one of his Dutch characters, he makes St. Nicholas appear. This is the first time that St. Nicholas was mentioned in American literature. The fact that this book was published on December the 6th, the anniversary of St. Nicholas's death, is, of course, no coincidence. The book became a success and was also read by writer Clement Clark Moore, who was friends with Irving. Moore used the figure of St. Nicholas himself in a poem he wrote for his children. The poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, appeared anonymously in a New York newspaper in 1823. After it was published several times, the poem we know now as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" became very popular. The Dutch Sinterklaas appeared for the first time under the name Santa Claus. Clement Moore also added the reindeer to his poem and made Santa Claus a jolly giver of presents. In the years that followed, cartoonist Thomas Nast gave Santa Claus his now famous appearance and established his official residence as the North Pole in several of his illustrations. At the time, there had recently been a series of expeditions to the Arctic, and the North Pole was thought of as a mythical, magical place. And the tradition of giving presents? That remains a bit of a mystery. It may well have come from St. Nicholas, who already gave presents to the poor in Myra. But so did the three kings from the east when they visited the newborn Jesus. And the Romans also gave each other presents during the celebration of Saturnalia. So maybe it's a fusion of all three of them. Anyway, thanks to Hollywood and a very famous cola brand, Santa Claus is now known all over the world. And Christmas itself is celebrated in the strangest corners of our planet. I wish you all Feliz Navidad, Joyeux Noël, Feliz Natal, Buon Natale, God Jul, Nollag Kridail, Nollag Shona, Wesołych Świąt, Frohe Weihnachten, Gezegende Kerstfeest, Vrolijk Kerstfeest, Hyvää joulua, Kala Christojenna, Szczęśliwego Rіздва, z rozdziestwem Weselé Vánoce. In other words, Merry Christmas.
Dierbare herinneringen aan vroeger. Laat u die gewoon vergaan. Beelden van uw kinderen, familieleden of misschien wel van uw eigen jeugd. Wij kunnen deze kostbare momentopnames voor u digitaliseren, zodat u er op uw moderne apparatuur opnieuw van kunt genieten. Videobanden, filmspoelen, foto's, dia's, negatieven, audiotapes. Laat ze niet verloren gaan. Gardenier Digimedia brengt herinneringen weer tot leven.